Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Sunday, July the 26th, race number 8 at Del Mar. Let's throw up the field for the Grade 2 Eddie Reed. We're going 1 1/8 on the turf. You can download free Formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them and handicap along with us. Mike, the 7 United is the deserving favorite. He's 8-5. Do you think this distance is a bit sharp for him, though?
Yeah, I would say it's probably not his best distance, Dan. I understand that he's a deserving favorite in this race. He comes off a couple of Grade 2 wins back to back. I don't know. I'm just not his biggest fan. I did feel like at a short price, he might be beatable in here.
There's not a ton of speed in this race. I'm a little bit surprised that this race did not get the Timeform US Blue Bar. Neptune Storm, the 6, has enough tactical speed where he can get to the lead. But you have horses like Bowie's Hero, the number 1. He doesn't have a ton of early speed. Originaire, a horse that likes to come from a little bit further back, really close to the pace. I wouldn't be surprised if this pace is kind of slow for this class of horse.
Yeah, I felt sort of the same way. It does feel like it could really be an advantage for Neptune Storm, too. He's a pretty nice horse, Dan, and if he gets loose, he could be tough to run down in here.
And if Bowie's Hero can work out this trip, this might be a nice setup for him as he makes his second start of the year, right in the Breeders' Cup Mile. All in all, a pretty good trip from a tough post. Pratt got him into 3rd position, tracking that pace battle by himself, and he finished evenly in between horses and a good effort in his return. Let's watch the Grade 3 American. He's only beaten a length in this race. He was in behind horses for a little while, and he comes with a solid run. I thought this was a nice building block performance, and he does have enough tactical speed to work out a good trip.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get a better trip this time. This race here, the American, Blitzkrieg just got absolutely loose on the lead. Nobody went with him in there. He controlled that race all the way around. And Bowie's Hero just couldn't catch him late. He put in a pretty nice late run there, Dan. It was too late. I thought he ran fine. I think it makes a lot of sense in this race.
Originaire is an up-and-coming 4-year-old. This horse has earned triple-digit Beyer speed figures in his last 2 races. And while United had a pretty clear trip in the Whittingham last time out, prompting the pace on the outside, Originaire was down inside and kind of had a little bit of traffic. He's very close to United, I think, on ability, and he might be a little bit better at this distance.
Yeah, I wonder if that 1 1/4 was ultimately a little too far for him last time. I think it's also worth noting, I mean, if you go back and watch the replay of that race, particularly the head-on replay, I mean, he took a really good bump at the top of the stretch from Rock Emperor, and then Rock Emperor bumped him 2 more times coming down to the stretch. This horse actually ran really well last time, and as you already know, Dan, I'm a huge fan of this horse.
Like Bowie's Hero, Sharp Samurai should benefit from the American, his first start off of a lengthy layoff. He ran a good 3rd that day, and what I like about Sharp Samurai over the years is he's always been a consistent horse, and he runs well at Del Mar. Plus, you could argue this is his favorite distance.
Yeah, the distance really works to his advantage. Last time, I guess I just thought he ran okay in that race, Dan. The pace wasn't really there for him. And, maybe raiding and letting Blitzkrieg go was ultimately a mistake. But otherwise, his trip was pretty good, and he just wasn't quite good enough. I know that he can win this race. I'll use him somewhere, but I preferred others.
Combatant is cross-entered on Saturday. If he goes here, well, he does have the Grade 1 win on dirt in the Big Cap, 2 starts back going 1 1/4. But he basically is a 1-run closer who is somewhat pace-dependent. He'll come running late, but as a turf maiden against this group, with this pace scenario, he might be in a little bit steep.
Yeah, the trip may work against him, and I'll be honest, Dan, he's fine on turf. I'd much prefer him as a dirt horse.
Well, the 5 Cleopatra's Strike is really consistent. I have to admit, I'm getting a little bit tired of the whole bridesmaid act. 11 seconds in his career, last time out in the American. He really didn't fire, but it was his first start off a layoff, and I think 1 mile is a little bit sharp for him. You can argue 1 1/8 is okay, but that he, like United, might want a little longer.
Yeah, it's true. I would be willing to give him the mile excuse last time, just in a race that had 0 pace going on. I didn't really feel like he had a fair chance in that race. It doesn't mean I love him off his prior form, but it certainly makes him a contender.
Neptune Storm was a very solid 3-year-old last year in Southern California, and he got on the graded stakes led your last time out with a victory in the San Francisco Mile. Let's watch that race. He got right up close to the pace, and Kiwi's Dream is a nice horse. Kiwi's Dream really isn't of the level of the Uniteds and the Sharp Samurais and the Bowie's Heroes and the Originaires, but it was nice to see Neptune Storm put that sharp horse away. It was a nice race, but it was a race that was dominated by horses on the front end. And that being said, he might dominate this race on the front end.
He could get a very good trip in this race. He wasn't, impressive winning last time, but he got it done. And when you go back, Dan, ever since Richard Baltus took this horse over, I mean, he is right there every time. Save the Shoemaker 2-back where he got involved on a wicked pace. Other than that, he's always right there, and he might be loose in here.
In my opinion, United's the best longer distance turf horse in Southern California and one of the top 2 in the country, along with Zulu Alpha. Let's watch his Whittingham win last time out. We have Originaire in that race as well. He got a nice trip. He sat outside. He took over the lead, United, and here he is. It looks like he's in hot water at about the 8th pole, Mike, and he is very lucky to get this bob. It was a 50-50 chance at the wire.
It really was. He just held on in here. I'll give him the credit he deserves just for getting it done, Dan. That was a pretty good field that he beat. I just wonder if this is a little short, and I don't know that I want a really short price on him in this race.
Let's take a look at our top selections for this race. I think he's going to get through this. I think he's going to have to lay up closer to the pace under Pratt, but I really think he's a lot better than a lot of people give him credit for. Maybe this race is a prep for something longer down the road. I know that Mr. Mandela wants to run him in the Breeders' Cup Turf again. He just missed a head last year, but I'll go with him over Originaire, who I think is also very good, and he's your top pick at a much better price.
Yeah, I think you were taking a shot at me there when you're saying he's a little better than other people think that he really is. I'm not way against him at a short price, then. I'm not a real believer in him yet. I love Originaire. He needs a trip in this race, and he may not get it. But I think he's going to be the right price in here, and I'm betting him.
Same soupy, different order. You're going 2-1-3-7. I'm going 7-2-3-1. It's the Sunday race of the day. Remember to get those free formulator PPs on DRF.com. Approximate post time for the Eddie Reed, 5:30 Pacific. Best of luck.